Host Jose Franco would probably be the first to tell you not to romanticize any of this. Not the podcast, not the writing, not the books, not the clips, not the man himself. Because if there's one thing the Developmental Gap podcast and Stoop Juice continue trying to expose, it's the uncomfortable truth that human beings are deeply limited creatures, emotional, fearful, contradictory, distracted, tribal, and often blind to the stories we tell ourselves just to get through the day. But baseball became the safe space that allowed these conversations to happen. Not because baseball is perfect, not because sports magically build character, not because coaches, parents, players, or organizations are free from ego, politics, insecurity, favoritism, fear, or hypocrisy. Quite the opposite. Baseball simply provides something rare in modern life, a visible struggle, a place where failure cannot hide forever, a place where body language exposes insecurity, a place where preparation eventually reveals itself, a place where selfishness affects others immediately, a place where fear, entitlement, laziness, discipline, resilience, insecurity, courage, patience, ego, and accountability quietly leak out inning after inning. And because of that, baseball becomes more than a game here. It becomes a mirror. That mirror is what the Developmental Gap podcast keeps trying to protect. Because underneath every conversation about mechanics, velocity, recruiting, parenting, confidence, failure, playing time, politics and youth sports, or development, there's a deeper conversation happening. How honest are we willing to be with ourselves? That's why this project exists. So to everyone listening, everyone sharing clips, everyone watching quietly, everyone following on Instagram and every other platform, thank you. Thank you for allowing baseball to become a bridge toward conversations most people spend their entire lives avoiding. And thank you for continuing to visit Stoop Juice, where every ebook remains free, not because the work lacks value, but because some things are too important to place behind a wall, while the world keeps teaching people to avoid themselves. Jose understands something most people eventually discover whether they admit it or not. Many of us spend enormous amounts of money trying to escape silence, escape self-confrontation, escape uncertainty, escape vulnerability, escape the possibility that maybe our blind spots are larger than our opinions. But the discomfort we spend our lives avoiding is available for free. And baseball, strangely enough, gives people permission to approach it safely. A parent talks about their child's confidence, but they're really talking about their own fears. A coach talks about accountability, but eventually confronts his own ego. A player struggles with failure at the plate, then slowly realizes life will continue demanding emotional resilience long after baseball ends. The game quietly exposes all of us. That loneliness, Jose embraces it, not because he believes isolation makes him special, not because he thinks he possesses answers others don't, but because reflective loneliness, when approached honestly, can become a mirror. A mirror that continues exposing his own hypocrisies, his own contradictions, his own ego, his own need for validation, his own fear. And through storytelling, through coaching, through writing, through uncomfortable conversations around baseball fields, dugouts, podcasts, and long drives home after games, he continues trying to keep access to those blind spots instead of protecting himself from them. That's also why gratitude matters here, because none of this happens without people willing to struggle publicly through their own uncertainties. And Dylan Kane deserves acknowledgement for exactly that, for his love of the game, for his continued work with young players, for his willingness to help build something still growing, and for continuing to pursue one of the hardest paths imaginable, trying to make it as an actor in New York City through independent films, auditions, projects, rejection, instability, and persistence. There's courage in continuing anyway. That same courage is what this podcast hopes to encourage in others. Not performative confidence, not transactional love, not love dependent on status, agreement, politics, money, leverage, popularity, or convenience, but unconditional love. The kind that still chooses empathy despite disappointment, still chooses patience despite fear, still chooses honesty despite vulnerability, still chooses reflection despite discomfort, still chooses humanity despite everything history has taught us about ourselves. And maybe that sounds naive. Jose understands that possibility too, but he also understands this. Fear is contagious. So is cynicism. So is ego. So is distraction. But self-awareness can spread too. Reflection can spread too. And maybe if enough people willingly confront themselves honestly enough, unconditional love can spread too. Not perfectly, not universally, not all at once, but enough to matter.